Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
Hey everyone, and welcome to Late Night with Cap, like always, live on Wednesday night. I am your host, JT Gunn, and I always have a guest coming on the show here soon. And we talk about some wild stuff, either bad graphic design, some Bigfoot, and we always have a main topic. So tonight we're going to talk about something that someone had for dinner that maybe you probably didn't want to have for dinner. So we got some nice little neat little weird odd true crime story we're going to cover, and then like I said, we're going to get into it here. First, a quick updates. Yes, I think in October it might not be some guests on the show, but it might be multiple guests on the show, and I'm thinking of doing a panel of guests where we talk about some spooky stuff. So look for that in the announcements on Twitter. Again, you can follow me there or not Twitter, x.com. It's jgun09. That's where you can find me. And we should have a fun time. But before we go, I just want to make sure we throw in a cap dance, because I hit 400 subs over the weekend, and that was really cool. So congrats to me, I guess. So thank you all again for subscribing, tuning in, watching my stuff on replay, my shorts. I do appreciate it all. I never thought I would ever be at 400 subs. Never thought I would be at 100. So it's all good stuff. All right. So let's go ahead and bring on this man. He's a new father. He likes the retro stuff. He likes the retro video games. He likes to tell you to work out all the time. However, he lives in California. Hey,
Yes,
Jock Nerdy. How you doing, man?
Thanks for having me, Cap. Appreciate it.
It's good to see you. Good to see you. And like always, when someone comes online here with me, they get a round of applause.
Thank you.
Yeah. So R2 wanted me to tell you real quick that I'm thinking he meant to say Biggles. Told me that you are Miles Davis tonight. Do you know what that means?
I do now. I guess. I didn't know who that was before he said that. So.
So have you ever seen Billy Madison?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. So you got what he was saying then.
Once he mentioned that, I was like, now I remember that line. I still didn't know who Miles Davis was, but
he's a famous jazz singer, and he was or I guess you would say trumpet player. Mm-hmm. And he was really cool. So that's why the old lady said she was Miles Davis.
Okay.
R2 says liver and onions is what we're going to talk about. Maybe.
And onions, huh?
Close. Very close. Here's your good old buddy. Also lives in California with you. Nerdy Neo, or AKA Broba Fett. Can't stay, but hi, JT and Jock. Can't wait to watch the replay later. Now you've met him in real life, right?
Yep. Yeah, we had cigars. It was great.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a place that's kind of like a cigar bar, not too far from here.
Okay.
It's like a humidor, and you just smoke cigars inside there.
And how did that go? Did it?
That was great.
Okay, you had a good time hanging out with him. I remember when I first met you, and that was in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
And that was fun. You were carrying this guy right here. He played the trumpet. Yeah, he played the trumpet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, remember
that was such a fun trip. Oh, that poor guy. He stayed with me in my room at the hotel, but I was a mile or so at least away from the strip or where anything was at, so we had to walk every time and back, and just the guy, his foot was killing him.
I remember his shoe was broken. Like he had like no soul.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of matched his personality.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, you kind of beat me to that one. I wasn't sure if I was going to say that or not. But
now, you're no longer on YouTube. You decided to pull your channel. But before we get into why you pulled your channel off YouTube and moved it to Rumble, your channel is mostly about retro video games, and you do a great job of explaining not just what the game was, but the history behind the games, the like graphics behind the games, like the insider scoops on why they developed a game. So you're like your Sonic the Hedgehog like history video that did really well for you, and I think that was a really good video. What is your interest in why are you so stuck in the past? What's going on there?
I am this close to just saying we need to throw everything out with current entertainment. Sometimes I give a little bit to sports because I do like sports, even though outside of the game they piss me off sometimes. It's like my slogan is respect the retro, and they don't do that. They just do whatever they want now, and there's no lore rules, no continuity matters. They just, oh well, this might be catchy. Oh, it could be like this now, and it's like, I mean, I could go on forever about this. It's just, I mean, I don't know if you saw that clip from that recent Star Trek show where Spock eats bacon.
No.
He starts eating a bunch of bacon, and then he starts eating more and more of it, but he can't control himself, and he goes all crazy, and it's like, I'm not even a super Star Trek nerd, and I'm just like, that's not how that character acts. That's
True.
Spock doesn't act like that.
And then they do some weird thing, like they're in some alternate timeline, or it's like time travel, or
those movies that J.J. Abrams did, they just like did something that messes up the timeline so they can restart it and reboot it and make their own version, and because they're just creatively bankrupt and they can't make anything anymore, so they have to just redo, like piggyback off of stories that are already written. Mortal Kombat's doing that now, which is just because that was like Star Wars was like my favorite thing, and then that's kind of just
you're kind of at the moment of
that's enough.
Right, you're over it. Okay,
and Mortal Kombat was like my second favorite IP, and now that's gone the way it's gone. I'm just like, oh my gosh, you guys. So it's like, that's my defense is to just go back and enjoy the stuff I did before.
So that, I mean, I totally respect that, and I think that's really cool. There are some new stuff that is actually pretty good, especially in video games. There's been a couple of video games that have come out that blow you away, but they don't compare to what was in the past. Like some of those games, like Sonic 2, I remember Sonic 2 being like one of the hardest games I've ever played, and I felt so like accomplished at age, I think I was either 10. Like I did it, right? You spent hours, you didn't have save points, you didn't really have checkpoints, right? You had to, if you died, you had to remember certain things and go through. So that's what you're talking about, right? You want to go back to where kids are breaking controllers, stressing over life. You want all that.
I used to, like, when I was a kid, I would start losing it. And my mom would say, if I hear that one more time, you cannot play the rest of the day. So I had to learn how to control it, because
you're just mad.
There were times, I mean, I remember times leaving the Nintendo on overnight so I wouldn't lose my spot.
Oh yeah, I did that. I've done that before. And Sega, you would do that with Sega Genesis too.
Yeah, but then you turn it on and it's like glitched. You have to turn it off anyway. And you're just like, oh.
Yeah, or your cat like bumped it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
we have a cat now, by the way.
Oh, okay. So you got a cat, a new kid.
It's my wife's old cat that her mom had been watching for a while. And it stays upstairs, so the dogs aren't allowed upstairs. So the dogs don't even know it's here.
Wow.
So
Good evening, gentlemen. Hey, Isaac. Good to see you. Speaking of the chat, let's go ahead and say some hi to some people. Biggles Mets, your favorite fan on in the internet here, is with you. My soul is indeed broken. We've got Miss Sassy Sasquatch. Good to see you. Of course, Jacob Ironside is here. Hopefully, he brings in some of the jokes. R2 the Icky, we've already said hello to him. And Beard of Liberty, good to see you, man. Thanks again, everyone, for stopping by. This one's going to be a fun show, but it's also going to take a dark turn.
oops, I put that in the wrong chat.
Uh-oh. What'd you do?
I was saying something to Biggles, but I put it in the private chat.
Oh.
So we're all good.
Okay. It says at least you still have one Biggles. Okay. All right. Jock Nerdy is the crazy. Well, he's not really a crazy cat lady because one, he only has one cat. I don't think that classifies him as a crazy cat lady. I think you have to have more than 3 or 4. Yeah. So out of you said Mortal Kombat was your favorite of of that genre of games, right?
Yeah, that was probably my favorite IP that just went on for a while. And
now
I didn't mind Mortal Kombat 11. I'm not the biggest fan of time travel, but it was all right. And
okay.
But I felt like this last one, they were just like taking plots from like Deadly Alliance and Deception, Armageddon, and just sticking them where they wanted. And then they were it's like they just put characters in blenders and whipped them up and whipped out, which pieces came out. And it was like randomized characters that were mixes of multiple characters. It was really weird.
I've stopped playing. I think I played like either 10. I played 10, but I literally stopped playing after 3, and then I jumped into 10. I think one time because it had like, I think it had like Batman in it or something. I can't remember. But when I was a young one, I remember when Mortal Kombat came out, and there's a whole thing about which system had blood and which didn't.
Yeah.
And you covered that really well in your video, the Mortal Kombat video, and that you posted, I think is now on Rumble. Now,
hopefully it's over there. I haven't got everything up yet.
Were you in that household where you had to use you couldn't get the blood, or you weren't allowed to do that? Were you allowed to see the full thing?
My parents, I don't think they cared, but we didn't have a Genesis yet.
Okay, so you defaulted to the green.
So
okay.
we had to have the Super Nintendo version.
All right. Do you have any of the your original devices or systems? Look at that, folks. Man, it's even dirty and scratched up.
And then I don't have it even plugged in right now, so it's easy to grab them and show them.
So those are the original ones that you had as a kid. Yeah.
I had to rebuy some of them, but the Super Nintendo and the Nintendo are. So.
Okay. All right. Then I'm sure you have a Genesis as well.
Yeah, I've got the Genesis Sega CD combo sitting up here.
Okay. Did you ever have the Did you ever have the thing that like stuck in, like, was it like the 32X? Was that what it's called?
I have never had a 32X.
And you would, okay, so you had the CD, you stick on the side, then you had the 32X, you would stick on top. Then you had the Game Genie that you would put in there.
Yeah, you could do that. Huh?
And then you could like stack. You could stack your Genesis to like 4 stories tall.
Yeah, that was. Trying to plug that thing in is a mess.
And it would get really hot. Very modular.
Each system had its own like big AC adapter, those big ones that we had back in the day. So you had to be able to plug in all 3 of them. Oof.
Yeah, and one thing I do recall was like you also had different controllers. Like you had turbo controllers, you had just a standard one, and then you had the big joystick ones that would work for some things. I always thought that was fun. Yeah, I remember the turbo ones. Like a button would get stuck, and you would always be hitting punch for the. Like it would always. Yeah. Let's see here. JN seems to be disgusted by the 32X.
So, yeah, the 32X was a total slap in the face of fans. It was meant to, it was a reaction to the Atari Jaguar, and they were like, okay, we gotta respond somehow because we have a 64-bit system coming out. Oh my god. So they put a band-aid on to make a slightly better, just so they could have bigger cartridges, so they could have more memory, like a Genesis system, in a sense. And it was, and they released it. I think it was 1994 holiday season in the U.S. And right before they released it, they announced the Saturn. So everybody's like, well, the Saturn's coming out next year, so why do I want to buy this thing? And it was like $179, I think.
They do that with iPhones now.
Yeah. So I was like, and they made like no games for it. The games were, I think, $70. I think games.
That's a lot back then. That was a lot back then.
I think they were $69.99 for games back then, and games were $59.99 before the CD era, when they were able to drop them down because CDs cost a little bit less. But the games cost more. They weren't really any better, and they didn't make very many of them. And then I think the 32X maybe sold like 700,000 copies worldwide, and they stopped it. They just scrapped it.
Yeah. Whitebeard says it looked like a monster when you had everything. So I like AMVN's review of running the Genesis Sega CD in 32X.
Yeah, Angry Video Game Nerd. Yeah. That's such a good.
He's like one of those original YouTubers, right? He's doing I think he's still out there. Worth the watch because it definitely summed up people's feelings. Yeah, it did. Didn't the 32X bring Japan great shame?
I don't know about that. It's so funny because there's so much about Sega that I could cover that I didn't in that initial video, because I didn't want to make like an hour-long video, because I don't think anybody's going to watch an hour-long video.
You'd be surprised, especially if you're good. I mean, you are very good at explaining the details of the history of video games. Maybe one of my mods in the chat, either R2 or Beard of Liberty, can post his one of the the Sega video that he has on his Rumble. I think it's on his Rumble channel. I
think I have that one. I got like 3 or 4 of them up.
Yeah.
I just I'm still figuring out this thing called parenthood and how much time and energy it takes.
So just so you know, I have an 8-year-old.
Yeah.
You'll be still trying to figure it out almost every day. And by the way, when you're 41 like me, your parents will still be figuring it out. It's just how it goes.
Yeah, I'll be 40 soon, so I'm right there. But yeah.
All right, here we go. Here's the first joke of the night from Jacob Ironside. Don't trust stairs. They're always up to something.
I got to write that one down.
Well, we're talking about games, and I saw a fun game on, I guess it's X.com now, and I wanted to share that with everyone. You probably saw it over today, yesterday, and I have a segment on the show called As Seen on Cap, where I show like weird products or weird things that you might be interested in. It's not really retro, but it kind of is. It's very simple, but a lot of women are playing. So apparently you take a hot dog, you tie it to your waist, and then you just kind of dangle it. You just kind of swing it around until it like hits you in the face.
I saw that. Do they have a name for this game?
I don't know, but it wasn't sharing, so that was funny. So here you go. Here's a game. Bam! Right in the face there. She's got it. Oh, almost. Oh, she got it. She did a good job. What do you think? No? Did she bite it? She got it.
Looks like she got it.
Yeah.
Looks like half of it came off. Man.
I mean, there's some classic memes from this one, I would say.
Oh, for sure.
Just getting off of work. I'm about to head Sorry. About to head my butt home. Hoping you don't have a good night streaming background to my single says no. Okay, good to see you. Good to have you come by.
Thank you.
Let's see here. Hey, Biggles. Oh, wait, my bad. It's Jock, my man. Y'all look alike. I don't know. Do they look alike?
I'm like, it's so funny because we probably act the same in a lot of ways, but I mean, there's a huge difference between us.
So you have a question here. So it was the trial run for the Dreamcast versus PlayStation disaster.
What is he talking? The 32X? Is that what he's talking about?
I think. Well, you mentioned the 32X, and then you had the Saturn. I think he's talking about that. And then R2 just posted your Rumble video for the Sega.
Thank you.
And yeah, so would you try that game with the hot dogs?
Me, no.
No, you don't think you can do it?
That's not why I won't try it.
Okay. You think you're good at it? You think you'll have it nailed, right?
Well, the key to catching anything with food is to have your tongue out, but that's going to look even worse, I think. You ever like throwing popcorn up and try and catch it, or a grape?
Oh yeah.
The key is to have your tongue in the right place. If you're trying with your mouth like that, it's like you're just gonna. But you got to have your tongue out there to grab onto it.
Look, I've met both of you all. You all are twins. Seriously, they're kind of the same height. Him and Biggles are sort of the same height.
Same, very close.
Yeah, they're kind of the same build. Biggles has more hair. But
my hair all grew down here.
Yeah, you have more adrenaline, I think.
More adrenaline
or endurance. You can walk around Vegas.
Maybe.
You seem like the leader of the pack when I met you.
Okay.
Well, we do a segment on this show called Bad Graphic Design, and I got some special stuff for you. Since you're retro, okay. I was going to show you some video game stuff. So, I love we did this before where I went back and I found some ridiculous retro video game covers. I did this with Rhetorical Thrill, and she loved it. She thought it was funny. So we're gonna do some with you, but I have some extra special. I have like extra for you. I got a surprise for you too at the end, so you should have a good time. So
look forward to it.
Now you've played golf games, right? Are you a fan of golf games? You have?
I have.
Have you heard of Ninja Golf?
No.
What do you think this game's about?
What
do you think a ninja would be doing golfing?
Do you have is he defending himself against the golf balls?
I don't know, but it came out in an Atari.
Huh.
780 or 78000 or something like that. Do you remember this system at all?
I vaguely remember it being mentioned when I was a kid, but I think I started playing video games around 1989, so it was Nintendo's era then. So I kind of missed this one a little bit.
Let's see here. Hey, what's up? Good to see you. Real Wanna Nation Gaming Clips. I'm sorry, I'm really bad at reading names when they're all jumbled like that.
I just call him Wade.
Wade. Okay. Hey, Wade. Yeah. Real Wade. There it is. Real Wade Nation Gaming Clips. Good job. So I think what he would do here with his sword is I think he would just kill his competition, right?
Oh, that would be, I guess, if you're the last one standing, you have no one else can win.
Maybe it's like you ever play that game where you like slice of fruit thrown at you? Maybe that's what he's doing. Would you buy this game if you saw it?
I might have to now because. Yeah.
Okay.
It's like one of those things you got to own.
So Beard says, "What's your sub goal? That way we got to get you to do the hot dog catch."
Oh.
Now, no, I'm surprised they never asked me how much I would have to do, but it's okay.
I mean, I'm not on YouTube anymore, so
he's on Rumble, folks. So All right. So the
I don't know
next
what,
one,
I don't know what Rumble's lines are for like being monetized and stuff. So
I think I always go by the 100. So it's like, okay, I hit 100, I hit 200, I hit 300. I always go by the 100. So then if I eventually hit to the thousands, then maybe I will break it down by 5, and then I'll go that route. Does that make sense?
mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
Mine is 1,000. So if he hits 1,000, Wade, then he'll do the hot dog game. Maybe you should have a ninja do it with you. Now, here's another game. This is a game from a Super NES, and maybe you've seen it. And these dudes look super tough, and they wanted to make them real tough because they were, rival turf. They were keeping their turf safe.
Now, this is a real game.
This is a real game. Yes, all these are real games.
Wow. Rival turf.
Yeah, and what's funny is there's an ad. Remember you would get like Nintendo Power or
Oh yeah, I had
magazines?
Nintendo Power.
So there's an ad, and they literally reuse those two dudes in like 4 different pictures, like the same pose. They never changed them, but just different backgrounds.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Would you buy? You want to buy this game? You want to rent this game?
I might have to now.
Were you a renter or a buyer?
We rented a lot back in the day because we didn't really have allowance, so we would, I don't think I started getting allowance until I was 11. So it's like we had like a list of chores, and I was the oldest kid. So we got a quarter for each year we were old, for each week if we did all our chores. And it's like, so if I was 11 years old, I got like 11 quarters, which, is almost $3. It's like, that's going to take like half a year to save up enough to buy a $60 video game.
So you rented.
Yeah.
Okay. And would you like rent the same one over and over if you try to beat it?
There were times I did rent games multiple times.
Wasn't that fun?
Mm-hmm.
So everyone says these are the stock photo dudes. Yeah, pretty much. They were diverse here. There's a white dude and a black dude, so we're good there. Last one has to be fake. Maybe. I like the factor behind a building. And if you ever look up, I think it's pronounced Jayco, they have the craziest covers. There were some covers I showed. Bro, she was like, "That's actual game." I'm like, "Yeah, it's a game." And you can play. This is 2-player action, by the way.
I mean, is this like a rival gang fighting game or something?
Yeah, you like like, do you remember what was that? Like almost like it's like a side scroller. Yeah, where you have 2 people fighting, and one would take care of the top, and the other one would take care of the bottom. So.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I got another one for you. This one might shock you a little bit more here. Now this is a different game. So she's been in the news lately. This is Snow White on PlayStation 2. This is Snow White and the 7 Clever Boys. Not dwarves. So
is that how they get around some kind of copyright?
It is.
They would have to be, because that's.
Look at the graphics on this game.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say that was good for PlayStation 2 or bad?
That's not good for PlayStation 2. That looks like maybe kind of like that early Sega Saturn / maybe some early PlayStation full motion video graphics caliber.
Yeah, it looks like it. So they're saying that that's you and Biggles on this cover.
Oh, okay. Well, who's who on that cover?
I would say Biggles would be the one with the bandana.
Okay.
You're the one with the backwards hat.
I do like to wear a backwards hat. I need to find something. I wear my dad hat right now.
Oh yeah, what's a dad hat?
It kind of looks like something you wear fishing.
Do you have dad shoes?
I wear flip flops all the time.
Okay.
I guess dad shoes would be those sandals that strap around the back of your feet. I guess that would be dad. I know people that wear those with like long socks. I'm just like,
don't wear with socks unless you're comfortable with it. Unless you're not, like, you have to hit a certain age. I'm almost there. So Beard says, "Burn it with fire." Yeah, burn this with fire.
I'm gonna look these games up after this.
When did Amiga make PS2 games? I don't know, but this is a real game, folks. Real game. You can look it up. Look it up.
I might, if I can get my hands on them, I might buy them now.
Oh, you want to buy these games?
I might buy them just to have them, just to collect them.
I wonder if that PS2 Snow White will be better than the live action. That's a good question there, Nicole, and it's good to see you. What do you think, Jock? Do you think this would be better than the next one, the new movie coming out?
Probably, because it's probably going to be more entertaining. It might not be because of its actual quality that it's more entertaining, but I don't know. That actress is. I feel like she has shown no respect or gratitude or any humility for the role she got.
No, she just took a role. Snow White looks like. The Snow White game looks like what Biggles made it, right, Jock? Yeah, Biggles would make this game. Yeah.
It's got the big apple, so that's why he's all about it.
Yeah. Biggles likes apples. Let's see here. Yeah, 3+ rating. It's there. It's a real game. You can look it up. But I think they couldn't say the 7 dwarves just because the dwarves actually look like what they look in Disney, and they didn't want to be sued, I would assume. So even the witch looks a little different, right?
Yeah, it definitely looks like they had someone kind of sitting there with them, like, okay, here's how you get around this, this, and this, and this, and
yeah,
because they definitely didn't have a Disney license. So
no, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that's what they probably had. Maybe other games. I'm a fan of Grimm's and Disney's animated Snow White. Yeah, those are good ones. Those are good games. Let's see. Phoenix Games makes the Snow White game, and they call themselves a super budget developer. No king. So he looked it up. There you go. Good job, Beard. See, he's a good mod. He does really good stuff like that. He looks stuff up. You know what, Beard? Just because you did that, you get a cap dance. All right. Now, I've been kind of tame on you for like past.
Yeah, you have.
Well, I got another one for you, and this is an advertisement for. Do you remember the handheld Genesis?
Yeah, this is Game Gear.
Game Gear. Well, this ad tells you won't go blind.
Oh shit! Was this it's a European? Because it has pounds on there, so it was
something to do with your hands that won't make you go blind.
That is definitely. Oh, it's funniest thing because like I worked with a guy that his parents were from Czech Republic, and he would talk about how he's like, well, we don't have all the chemicals and crappy food that we have here. We don't have it there. So he's like, obesity doesn't exist there. And, the health problems don't exist, but he's like, but if you you'll see billboards and posters that are just super socially filthy. He's like, oh, it's so much filthier in that sense there.
Yeah. So just so you know, it's very hard to find a kind of an odd, filthy video game cover. So I went like weird, but this one, I found this one. This was an ad, and you're all right. When I went through awful or weird ads, the European ads were. I have saved some of them for later, but yeah, this you won't go blind playing Game Gear like you would do something else. Yeah, that's an actual ad in the game. R2 says the Nomad was the handheld Genesis. Game Gear was the handheld Master System. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Fact Checker R2.
So,
you think you're cool because you can you know everything. It's okay. Yeah, actual wording. Yep. So
wow.
Now, you said you just had a newborn.
Mm-hmm.
Would you ever get a tattoo of your newborn, like a name, a face? Picture. And this is
Oh.
not. This next one's not going to be a video game, but this is just in the topic of tattoo and newborns.
I don't think so because I don't have any tattoos, and
Okay. Well, this is your one special. You get a special bad graphic design, just because you are a new father. And I want to kind of celebrate that. So this person got a tattoo of a picture of him holding his child's hand, or his child holding his thumb. Is actually is what it is.
Yeah. And they almost got it right.
Yes, that tattoo will make you go blind.
Wow. That is.
Oh my God, that is funny!
Oh,
See, I eased you into it.
that is. Yeah, that. Wow, I did not see that coming.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Nice phrasing
you.
there.
Thank you.
Congratulations on your baby. Yeah, that doesn't look like a thumb, and it doesn't look like a going photo accurate on the tattoos is always risky. It is. It really is. Is that hand holding a Doug trio? Almost. Yep. But there you go.
Should have had like the finger, the rest of his hand kind of going around the side of his baby fingers or something to make it. But also we wouldn't be having this much fun if he did.
No, maybe he should have just gotten the name. Yeah. Sometimes it's always better to keep it simple, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would you say that with a video game too? Keep it simple.
To some extent. I mean, we're in a time where like graphically and sound wise, they can make incredible stuff. I mean, I might check out Starfield. We'll see. I don't know yet.
Yeah.
It seems to be like a lot of people are enjoying it, and a lot of stupid fake outrage over the very beginning of the game when you make your character. And I'm like, outside of that, it sounds like it's pretty cool. So it's something I might check out.
Yeah. Were you a fan of Mass Effect?
Yeah, I played all of those.
Yeah, the same type. It seems similar. Looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very well. You explore space. I always liked how in Mass Effect you can like pick different galaxies and hop around. I always thought that was cool. So before we get to the next little topic here, now you said you moved to Rumble from YouTube. Mm-hmm. What was the reason, if you don't mind?
I was already kind of mad at YouTube to begin with because I kept getting my Mortal Kombat video copyrighted. And
oh yeah, I remember that. You couldn't even get it uploaded.
And it seemed like they cleared it, and then an hour later they recopyrighted it.
And was it because of the movie clips or the game clips, or
I'm not sure. The part they said was the end, was the climax where Liu Kang finishes off Shang Tsung, and they said that was it. So I just tried something where I cut that piece completely out. So then they just went back to the next part of the movie and said that one is. And then if I deleted that, they went to the one before that. And it was like they were just finding, I think it was no matter what I did, they were just going to. I mean, I even did one where I took the entire clip, I flipped it, and did no audio and did different background music, and they still copyrighted it. And it was like, what? I was like, this is a 28-year-old movie with thousands of reviews online. Like there's so many people that have done reviews on this video a long time ago. And I don't get it why I keep getting like, I could have gone the next step, which is like do an appeal. But if you lose the appeal, you get a copyright strike. And you also have to fill out a bunch of personal information. And I was like, why do I have to fill out my name, my address, and my phone number and all this? Why do I have to give that to you now? And for you to figure out this copyright thing. And then I go over to Rumble and I click on their copyright policy, and theirs is the opposite, where the filer, the claim, people that are going to claim it, they have to go through a vigorous process to prove it's a copyright before they can make it active. YouTube instantly takes their side.
It's AI. It's usually
Yeah.
AI. Mm-hmm.
And with YouTube, because YouTube actually messaged me a couple times on X, and they were like, "Well, you can do this," and then I asked a question, and I got another response, and they said, "Well, we don't mediate this, this, and this," and they acted like their hands were tied. Like I'm like, no, you guys have just chosen to go that route where you let the claim take over, and then you put the burden on the creator to undo it. Rumble does the opposite. So,
Okay.
and,
Have you?
and Rumble literally has a policy like of big corps, do not file false claims. We're warning you. So
Okay.
they
Probably
the
don't
opposite.
cater. They've been in the news a lot too with the
Mhm.
Rumble brand stuff, but they probably don't cater to like the big corporations either.
Oh no, it's definitely about access.
Okay. Look at
It's
this. Look at this. Cajun Corey just $50 or $5.
nice.
Yeah. That's awesome. Thank you, Corey. That's awesome, man. You know what? Just because you did that, you get a cap dance. There you go, man. Thanks. Appreciate it.
And like once they demonetize Russell Brand and with almost no notice, I was like, I'm already kind of irritated with you guys, and I don't like some of the stuff I saw before. And I was like, and I don't want to make this whole show about this, but I feel like at some point we got to take a stand. I mean, I know I'm one random small creator,
You're not
and
random.
I don't blame anybody that still does YouTube or uses YouTube, because if you have a voice, you got to use it.
Yeah.
But I felt
It's
like
a shame. It's a shame because you've done some good videos. So everybody, if you have a Rumble account, please go check out his Rumble channel and go watch his videos. He'll get some of that stuff going out over there. He does a good job. Now, is there anything that I'm sorry they had to go through all that, but and hopefully
okay.
maybe we can have a longer conversation about it. But does anything bother you? Do you get freaked out by anything like spiders or
snakes?
Oh, what about worms?
Not really, because it's funny. It'd be interesting to see how I deal with snakes now, because I have a chameleon.
What about a swarm that looks like a snake? So this Caps freak out. This person found this on a beach. So if you don't like snakes and you don't like worms,
I'm gonna back up so I can see this. No, I'm kidding.
This might not be good for you. So let me make sure there's no wild music. So this person was on a beach and he put a dead fish on the ground. Oh, wait, I'm not sharing it. Look at this. I'm such a fool here. So like, there's that worm. He's biting the dead fish and he pulls it out of the sand.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that.
Yeah. Huh.
So like, here you go. This is what you missed. So basically, it wants to eat the dead fish. This could be your foot, by the way.
Yeah.
And then he pulls it out of the sand.
I wonder if he got bit by it before and he's like, oh, there's something there,
I don't know. I think this is somewhere probably in Australia, because everything in Australia wants to kill you.
Yes. I mean, it's funny because Lyndon was like, man, if you come to Australia, we're going to do this. And I'm like, I don't know, man. There's a lot of scary stuff.
Yeah. So what is called is a Australian beach worm. And they can grow more than 2 meters in length.
Wow.
They are blind, but have a very good sense of smell. They eat decayed meat. So if your foot's not decaying, I guess they won't eat you.
So they're kind of like scavengers. Okay.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Speaking of eating, we do have a main topic tonight. And it's called What's for Dinner, Mom? And it's the story of a sad story of the murder of John Price. Yeah, the scariest thing in Australia is Maza. I would agree with that. Okay. So yeah, the murder of John Price. Now I'm going to warn everyone, if you aren't if you get a little queasy about true crimes, this one might not. You might want to. It's okay if you leave, or you can stay, but I'm just going to warn you, this one's a little rough. This one could be a little rough. Now, I do like true crimes, and I do like to find true crimes that don't really get talked about a lot, or they're just kind of weird. It's not like the normal true crime, right? So this one, like I said, this is about a man and a lady that lived in Australia. So we're going to go through, and then we're going to tell you what happened on what the unfortunate events that happened to this man. Now, this was John Charles Thomas. So who was he? He was born in April 4th of 1955. Oh yeah, Beard, you got to hit the like button before you leave. John had a limited education. When he left school at the age of 14, he can barely read and write. However, he was a hard worker, and he worked in heavy machinery, earth moving equipment, trucking, and mining. He did get married. He married his wife, Colleen. They had 3 children together, a son and 2 daughters. However, in 1988, he split up with his wife, Colleen. He seems like a cool dude, right? He seems like he's got like a shark tooth necklace. He seems like
a little blue collar background.
Yeah, he seems like a hardworking guy. Like he's probably a simple guy. I mean, he seems like he could be a good person, right? You wouldn't want to harm this man. Who knows? It sounds like, based on what I've read in the stories, he was a very gentle human being. Now, before we get into what happened to him, this is who he ends up meeting, this lady named Catherine Knight. And she was also born in 1955, so they're about the same age. However, Knight went through probably a different childhood. In her childhood, she was severely of severe physical abuse. At the age 15, she actually found her calling when she began to work as a butcher in a slaughterhouse. And that's something a 15-year-old probably shouldn't do, right? I don't know, in Australia, I don't know. Maybe that's different. I don't know. She actually married her first husband, David Kellett, in 1974. She is thought to have beaten Kellett frequently throughout their marriage, and even tried to strangle him on their wedding night. So she doesn't sound like a very stable person. Now, speaking of that wedding night, what happened was they sealed the deal 3 times that night. So hoorah, right? However, she wanted to go a 4th time, and he was too tired. And she didn't like that, so she actually strangled him to make sure he was able to keep going.
Wow.
Yeah, she's pretty. So yeah. Now she had children with Kellett. Her first child, Melissa Ann, in 1976, and then they had another daughter, Natasha, in 1980. In 1986, he broke up with Kellett and jumped into a whirlwind romance with David Saunders. So she was with other guy. Also a minor. He was a minor. Like her previous relationships, this one quickly grew toxic and violent. At one point, he actually slit the throat of a 2-month-old puppy in front of him just to show him what she was capable of.
You can't trust anybody that doesn't respect animals.
Isn't that true?
That's very true. Is so true.
Now, it's not only what she did. She also would hang butcher knives on her ceiling.
Yeah.
Above the bed. Not like on the wall, like a photo. Literally, like when you're laying, you're looking up at butcher knives. She would do those type of things.
Yeah, it's when you're the one time you're supposed to be at the most peace of your life. You can't. Mm-hmm. She's making sure of that.
Right.
Oh
she was a very abusive wife or girlfriend. She was the kind of the opposite to what usually happens in the world of relationships. But she doesn't look like a mean and nasty person, right? She looks pretty normal, right? Yeah. So she met John Price in a bar because she obviously broke up with that other guy. So they broke up. So she met John in a bar, and they seemed to like each other. She was nice to him at the moment. But deep. So basically, so the beginning of the relationship, John's relationship with her was without complications. She didn't show her true colors. He had 2 older children who lived with him, and they seemed to like Knight and he made enough money as a minor. So he was also a minor to keep her comfortable. So he was like her, you know, she wouldn't have to worry about anything. He was making good money, and she seemed pretty comfortable. They moved in together in 1995. Things were going smoothly. However, when she suggested that they marry and he declined, then she turned violent. So I can see that, right? He went through a divorce and maybe he didn't want to do it again, just because of that fact. Would you agree? Like, I mean, that happens to a lot of people, right? They divorce and they don't want to remarry.
I've been divorced once, so
yeah, okay.
I know you need a little cool down time.
Yes, and maybe it was too soon for him, right? Well, she didn't like that, so she got a little upset. She framed Price for stealing things from his company and got him fired. Price kicked her out of the house a few months later, and they started seeing each other. But then they started seeing each other again, so she came back. I guess he doesn't know her past.
Oh.
But they would argue a lot, off and on. He's actually quoted saying to his job that if he ever goes missing, check his wife. What she might have done something to him. So, however, this time he refused to let her back in. So after this one argument, a big fight, he didn't want her to move back in. We could date, but you're not moving in with me. According to his friends and neighbors, Knight's violence then began to escalate. So Kathy got a little even more heated over this situation. So basically, in February of 2000, an argument between John and Kathy culminated with her attempting to stab him in the chest. He took out a restraining order against her in the attempt to keep his children safe. So she's already tried to stab him once now. Toward the end of the month, Price let on that he was concerned for his safety and told his coworkers, here you go, that if he ever went missing, it was because Knight killed him. So he already kind of knew that she was crazy now, or she was something screw loose, or she was violent, and she could probably do some real harm to not just him, but his entire family. Look at this. Everyone's already dropped out. They don't want to listen to this story. It's okay. You can watch later. Now, on February 29th of 2000, John Charles Thomas Price came home from work and followed his usual routine for checking in with the neighbors before going to bed at 11 p.m. Knight came home shortly after, made herself dinner, watched TV, showered, and then went upstairs. She woke up Price. So she was home with him. The two had some passionate sex. He was probably terrified. Probably didn't want to do it. And then he went back to bed. Then Catherine took a butcher knife from next to her bed, where she had always kept them. So she kept butcher knives in the bedroom, and stabbed Price 37 times. Yeah, according to evidence, he woke up during the attack, but could not fight her off. And this is all because he didn't want her to live with her or marry. So as we know, she wasn't a very stable person anyways, right? But it gets crazier after this, folks. Knight dragged his John's body downstairs, skinned him, and hung his body from a meat hook in the living room. Then she decapitated him, cut him up in pieces of his body to cook in a dish with potato, pumpkin, beets, zucchini, cabbage, squash, and gravy. And that photo is an actual photo of the crime scene. She then made a dish for herself. Through a half-discarded contents later found at the crime scene suggests that she couldn't finish her meal. Now, she actually made plates for all of her children, and then she put their names next to each plate where they should eat. So when they came home, dinner was ready.
So she ate some herself?
Yes.
Is that...
But she couldn't finish it.
That's... I'm not sure what it is. There's something about the reason we can't eat other human meat. It does something to our brains. I can't remember what it is. I learned it a long, long time ago, back in like my first year of college, that it literally, there's some kind of cell that we're not supposed to consume that does something to our brain that makes us crazy.
Unless we're starving, right, in the middle of winter or something like a.
But yeah, that's why cannibalism will, like, even animals in the wild, they can't eat their own because they'll go crazy.
Yeah,
I'm not sure what it was. I can't remember what it does to your brain. You're not supposed to.
Well, if you know what that is, anybody watching and you want to.
Yeah, I remember learning about that. I can't remember what it is, and it goes straight to your brain and makes you crazy. You're not.
There's actually a movie. There's a movie about that. There's a guy where he accidentally ingests human flesh because he's in the Civil War or something. He's on a pile of dead men, and he actually goes a little. He does go crazy, and he actually. It's called Ravenous, I think, is the movie.
Okay,
it's actually a really good movie. So Price's coworkers heeded his warning. That's nice of him. The next morning and called the police after he didn't show up for his shift. The police arrived to find Kathleen Knight's gruesome crime scene and immediately detained the comatose Knight. Once she woke up, she claimed to have no memory of the night before. So she claims she doesn't remember doing any of this. In the kitchen, police found Price's head in a boiling in a pot of vegetables on the stove. On the table, they found 2 full plates, each labeled with a name in horror. The police realized that the Knight had planned to serve John Price's body parts to his children. So there you go. I already kind of mentioned that, but yeah. So she was so bad that he didn't want to marry her, and that he got a restraining order on her because she was a little crazy, and that he didn't want her around. Kinda. That she did this to him. Very sad, very sad. It's a very sad story, but it's a very interesting story. It's like, what gets the human to do something like this to someone? You know, like what tells you this is okay to do? Now, what is going on now with her? This is her right here. She's never to be released, despite her claim that she had no recollection of the night. John Charles Thomas Price died. Kathleen Knight was quickly charged with his murder. In October of 2001, her trial commenced, but it didn't get very far for reasons that remain unclear. Knight changed her plea to guilty, and the judge adjourned the case without testimony. She was escorted to prison that day, and the judge ordered that her papers be marked never to be released. For the first time in history, a woman in Australia, so the first time in Australian history, was given a life sentence without parole. To this day, Knight nevertheless maintains her innocence and refuses to accept responsibility for her actions. So she's sort of famous, but she was the first woman to get life without parole in Australia.
Wow.
And if you read up on Australian true crime, it's amazing that she is the first one, to tell you the truth. It's like they didn't want to give women, they wanted to give women the chance to, I don't know, get parole over, even if they did something really, really awful. And but yeah, it's surprisingly, if you look up the history of true crime, murders and stuff like that with Australia, it's surprising that she is the first. I'll tell you that one. So yeah, I know it's a little sombering, but I hope that
that's okay.
I just thought it was a really interesting. I was looking up some true crimes. Like, I haven't done a true crime before, and I was like, is there any true crime out there that most people don't talk about? Is there a true crime with some history to it? And unfortunately, John Price was. I do say a little prayer to his family, because that is horrible that what happened to him. So here's some input on what you were talking about. I think it's pronounced Kuru, is a neurodegenerative disorder caused by a Piron. Now, you know you're not supposed to put like these long, big words in a comment where I have to read them. Beard. Infectious protein found in brain tissue. So I guess this was what causes people to do what? this.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if she had eaten human flesh before. Maybe this wasn't her first crime. I don't know.
It is found in those participating in the tribalistic cannibalism. Yeah. Really gruesome. We went from like haha having fun to this, but that's how the show goes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, that's all good.
Sorry,
good.
buddy. Trying to be. It's okay. Just say what you want to say. I'll try to read it, and then you can laugh at me later. It's just, it's like, I guess these guys it never clicked to them that there was some red flags, right? Because I'm sure there were.
Well, I'm just sitting there thinking, well, like, how is she in your house again?
Maybe she has the golden something. You know what? No, she's abusive though.
He must just be a victim of some sort. I don't know.
And just like with women, they if they're really abused like that, they tend to go back to their abusers.
I see.
The really bad ones. I'm not talking like the really, really bad. They tend to, for whatever reason, I'm not a psychologist, but it seems like with stories like this, with male, with the opposite, the females just seem to go back. But maybe it's the same with males. Who knows? But yeah, she dominated a few of them. She actually had I think she had 6 children with 3 different men. So,
yeah, I know it is Australia. I don't know what the timeline was when they don't have firearms anymore, because I can tell you, I mean, thank God I haven't had to deal with that, but someone crazy like that showed any type of that and thought they were coming back to my home, you better not cross that line, because you're just not going to make it.
You're done. Yeah.
You're just not.
Yeah. Well, folks, if you're single men out there, if you ever come across a lady, she likes to put knives in her room, stay away. Stay far away. Okay, let's go on a little lighter note here. And thanks again for watching, everyone, the people who stuck around. Before we get into we'll go ahead and do it. Let's go ahead here. Now I do have a Bigfoot story. Do you believe in Bigfoot?
Not really.
So you don't believe in Bigfoot?
I just think if we can literally control a rover on Mars and see the things we see with satellites, yet we still can't find the Squatch. I don't know.
Well, this man claims he claims to have photographed the Bigfoot. Most people do. They're usually blurry or they're grainy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this was in West Virginia, and here's the picture. Samuel took this. Do you see the Bigfoot in the picture?
Yeah, at the top left.
Oh, that little black.
Yeah, that's what it's claiming.
Let's see. Yeah, there he is. What do you think? He's got a little ape face. You can see it right there. You think that's a Bigfoot ape? Where do you think
where's the face at? That's what I'm like.
It's kind of like, I can't really show you the mouse, but it's kind of like in the middle there of the screen. You see like the sunken eyes, maybe?
The middle top.
Okay.
I guess.
What do you think, folks? Do you think that's a Bigfoot?
I think that's a cave.
You think that's a
rock? I think that's a rock formation.
But there's some brown up here. So in the comments to the publication, Sam will describe that the strange behavior of his dog and unusual smell in the air. Now, I've had 2 guests on this show that said when Bigfoot comes around, you hear a smell. There's a weird noises and they smell. And then that's when he took the picture.
Interesting.
Beard says it's a sniper. Run. Maybe he's wearing a ghillie suit.
Well, that's what I was thinking. That top part kind of looks like that ghillie suit, but I think it looks like a rock.
Maybe he's just maybe he's sitting and he's facing the other way and you can't see his face.
I think it's a rock formation, like almost like a cave on top.
You think it's a cave on top of this rock? Like there's no rocks behind that though. There's a cave right here.
I just if you zoom in, I think it's a rock.
Okay. We did zoom in.
I know.
All right. You heard it here, folks. Jock Nerdy does not believe in Bigfoot. So it's not Bigfoot. Again, you can follow him at over there at x.com.
That's where I'm most active.
You are.
So they're actually testing out streaming tonight on X. Elon Musk said he's going to be doing something tonight. So he's.
I thought you could already live stream.
I think he said we're testing out some kind of live streaming feature, and he's going to do it playing video games. So he's going to do something. I thought
you could already do that. Like I can like right here. I can stream from this to Twitter.
Yeah, I just saw some tweet he put out today. Okay. So I don't know if it's something that's exclusive on their platform, or if it's it's like you can use like a streaming service that'll stream you to YouTube, Rumble, X, etc. It might be something you can't do that with.
All right, I'll check it out. Bigfoot is just trying to take a dump in peace.
Yeah.
And this man's taking pictures. You're right. That's correct. Maybe he is. Now, we've had, like I said, it's been 50-50 so far. I've had some guests say they believe, some guests they don't, some guests have seen it, some guests have seen twice. So who knows? Who knows? I think he's out there. I think there's something out. There's got to be something. Someone's seeing something. So look at Beard just chucking up all your stuff. He's got your Rumble.
Thank you,
he did your Rumble twice. And there's your Twitter. There you go. And you know what? Just for that, Beard, you get another cap dance. Well, John, this has been a fun night.
Yeah, thank you.
I always like having you on stream, and I think you're a cool dude. And I think that it's you're always good to have on any of these channels. So if you're always welcome here or on again, you were on our After the Weekend show a few times, so we appreciate you there as well. So you're always a good dude to hang out with. I do wish you all the best with your new family.
Thank you.
You will have your golden moments. You will have your I'm out of here moments. You will have your moments where you just want to chill. Then you have your moments just come out of left field and you're like, what just happened? And you kind of have to deal with it together as a family. And as long as you have that family, it's easier to get through some of those rough times.
Thank you.
Yeah, it took me long enough. What are you, slacking? I mean, I gave you enough. You got 2 cap dances, Beard, tonight. So there you go. Those are some of my things that let you know. I've done it. I think I'm married around 13 years. Had a kid for 8. And no, it hasn't been perfect. So I'm happy for you. I'm glad you bought your house. I'm glad you have a stable job. I'm glad you are enjoying what you are doing. And I'm glad that you are having fun with your kiddo. I love your pictures, by the way. They're fantastic.
Yeah, I get the most engagement from the crowd when I put those up.
The babies? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I put baby pictures up. They're 50 likes, like that.
Just taking advantage of the kid. Okay. Good job.
So, yeah.
Well, again, everyone, if you're still watching, thanks for hanging out. Make sure you hit the like button. And if you're new and you're watching on the replay, make sure you please subscribe. That'd be great. And not just to me, to Jock Nerdy over there at Rumble.
Thank you.
He does some good work. He does some. I loved your NBA Jam video, by the way. I wish that would have done better for you, but in the views. But that brought me back to a lot of memories. That NBA Jam. And you mentioned a game that I totally forgot about. I'm like, that's right. I remember that game. It was the game they made before NBA Jam, where it was like a basketball game, but it wasn't licensed by the NBA. where you like punched people and tripped people. I loved it. So
Mhm.
I was excited that you mentioned that. So that's another good video that you all can check out. I know you like to say respect the retro. Is there anything you want to say before we say goodnight?
Just that I will eventually get back into the game a little bit more. I'm still trying to figure out, the balance of life with this, new adventure. There's been several nights where I've been up like at 2 a.m. and I don't go back to sleep till 4 a.m. And then he wakes up again at 7 a.m. And by then the sun's up. So I just get up and, I gotta be there to making sure that I'm helping her out because she takes care of him most of the time.
Yeah.
So
you're still working though, right?
I've been back at work for 2 weeks.
Okay.
So yeah. So I'm trying to now that I've kind of I've had almost every weekend like from work like busy, like helping my family with stuff.
That's
so
good.
I
good.
kind of told everybody I don't help you move anymore. So I told my sister woke up this morning and she was like, felt like I ran a marathon. I was like, I told you yesterday, we are too old for this shit. Like we should not be doing this anymore.
Should not be moving. That's right.
Yeah.
That's funny. So one last joke for the night.
Okay.
Whenever you get a bad sausage, it's just the worst.
Nice. Oh, that's so good. Outstanding.
Outstanding. All right, folks. It's been a great night. Again, it's always fun having you come by. Late Night with Cap.
Thank you, everyone.
I think next week I am doing a show, and I haven't confirmed yet on the guest yet, but he hasn't 100% confirmed yet. So, but it should be a fun one. And again, also look out. This Saturday is the After the Weekend Harder live stream over there with me and R2 and Beard of Liberty. So you're also welcome to come hang out with us over there. Jock Nerdy, it's been great hanging out with you, man. Again, and I'll see you in the Twitterverse, man.
Heck yeah.
Everyone, have a good night, and see you next time on Late Night with Cap.